and it's 8 minutes past 1 o'clock. My name is Faith. Call me Faith Delicious.
And my name is Godwin, aka Mr. G.
All right, we've got a very special guest in the studio. It's not yet August, but I think we can say it's a special August guest in the studio on the Midday Oasis, and it's a privilege to have you here on the show. The Minister of Power, Mr. Chinedu Osita Nebo. Thank you so much, sir, for making time out to be here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of questions with regards to power, but I think we should just have one of the very obvious questions straight away so that we can release you on time. Privatization of that sector. What's it been like so far?
Privatization is something that many governments had viewed with a lot of trepidation and fear.
Okay.
But for the first time, we have a president who doggedly pursued the entire privatization structure and completed that very boldly, very courageously, and very transparently so. He's been adjudged all over the world, not only as the largest privatization of utilities in all of the world in recent history, but also a very transparent process.
Okay.
And I do think that is beginning to yield fruit. Is the privatization exercise that led to more IPP, independent power projects, coming on stream. The Azura that was recently flagged off in October by Mr. President, and some other IPPs are coming up. Not only gas-fired turbines are being considered here, but also coal to power. And also even hydros are coming up. And also renewable energies. Licenses have been issued even for solar power generation plants in this country, Nigeria. So it's what privatization has done. And without privatization, what happened at Abuja power station would not have happened. Abuja now went full blast, deploy the resources needed to refurbish and reconstruct the one of their turbines that had been down since 2005, 2006.
Wow.
And they got this turbine on, tested it completely last week, and it's supposed to fully generate 220 additional megawatts. Without privatization, that could not have happened. The same thing with Ugeli power plant. Ugeli now generates twice the capacity they inherited. And in addition to that, planning to add another 1,000 megawatts to the Ugeli power plant. So you can see that privatization is working very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, Professor, beautiful things that have come as a result of privatization. But would I also like to know what so far would you say have been the greatest challenges in that area?
Greatest challenges actually have come in the areas of vandalism of the oil and gas pipelines, especially the gas pipelines. The oil pipelines, of course, affected because of the associated gas that goes with oil. And once that is vandalized, at a point you have to shut down because of evacuation of the condensates and so on. So that vandalism has caused there to be a very sharp drop occasionally. And like I keep saying, the painful aspect of it is when we reach the highest level we've been doing in the past, these people go and vandalize. And they don't do it in one spot, because if you take a 50 kilometer, 100 kilometer, and you vandalize in one spot, it is easily found, it is easily fixed. But when they now target it, go even underwater and perforate these things with dynamite in 20, 25 places. You know, these people hate this country. They don't mean any good for this country. And that's the painful aspect of it. So that's the greatest challenge so far. And then the issue of commercial losses by discos because of metering that hasn't gone round. And so long as people are not fully metered, so long will people be stealing electricity without paying for it, so long will estimated bills be given to people depending on how well you are, how good your face is, or whether they like you or not. At the end of the day, people are just paying at random. No scientific, digitized method, unless it
to
is
hold them
accountable.
Now, sir, you're talking about metering. There was news about 1 million meters released. Can we do more than that?
Well, it's just because of the cost. Now, look at the price of oil going down. So the receipts of government revenues has plummeted recently. And so when government decided to do, in spite of this, to cough up the amount of money. If you were saying each meter, depending on the type, it could cost 30,000 naira or 40,000 naira or even more, 50,000 naira, as the case may be. If it's 40,000 naira and government is giving you 1 million meters, that is 40 billion naira. Our government is coughing out this money. Government should be giving kudos for that.
That's
so
a lot of money.
I would say, it's better to start. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Exactly.
And government cannot do all this in one fell swoop.
True, very true.
In recent times, we've noticed improvement in power supply, but recently we've noticed it's no more stable. What can we do, or what are we doing to make sure that it continues at the stability we've enjoyed in recent times?
It is very important for us to know that government, although power is increasing and improving, we are beginning to find out that in some areas, most of their transformers are overloaded.
Yes.
Once your transformer is overloaded, no amount of grammar or dogon trenchy will change the situation. The transformer has to be replaced. For instance, an army cantonment called on me a few months ago that their power was always tripping. We went in and saw they had a 300 kV transformer where they needed 500 kV transformer.
Wow.
So there's no way you can give them power. It will never be stable. It will continue to trip. Once people come and start putting on more air conditioners, more refrigerators and things like that, it keeps going off. So we had to change that. And ever since they had stable power. So we need to do that even at the distribution end. Not only is the government working very hard to make sure that transmission is robust enough to carry all the power that is sent to it, but also at the distribution end, there is ongoing World Bank project to help the discos to take care of replacement of many of these transformers that are overloaded.
Okay, there's something we do on the show. We call it rating power in your area, and we tell them on a scale of 1 to 10, and lately when people call in to, give us to rate power in their area, it's been scored high, and I say very, very impressive. But some of the constant complaints we get on the show is the issue of transformer and where they have to put money together. That's the people have to put money together to buy this transformer. It's
really unfortunate. We need to sanction some of the discos that do that. It's not right. You can't own a company and then tell the customer to give you investment, to invest at no charge. The customer is giving you money to buy equipment to give power. It's not right. So when that happens, the customers are supposed to tell or report to NEC, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. We know that's the case. Let me tell you one that may shock you. There's a place in Abuja, very close to the villa. They haven't had light for a while.
Yes.
And they reported. The disco took no notice. And then after much report, we were able to, reported to us that the disco wasn't responsive. We queried the disco. But before the disco could do anything, so much was going wrong because of the kind of work they did. So we literally found transformer and went and gave to them to replace what was there. The disco now sent people to fix the transformer, only to go back and then disconnect them for illegally, installing a transformer. It doesn't make any sense.
Not at all.
It doesn't make any sense. Now, government went out of the way, gave you a transformer, and you went and connected. You not only disconnected, you charged them 100,000 naira for illegal connection, and yet it was the same disco that reconnected them. So it doesn't make any sense. There are lots of things we need to, deal with regard to some of these discos. But again, we can't all do that in one fell swoop. One day at a time as these problems come. That's why we need these reports. People need to tell us where their problems are. We are establishing a call center where people who cannot be held by their discos, or maybe they don't have any response from the regulator, can also call the call center of the ministry.
The public will get this
the public very soon.
Okay.
We will make it available to you. Okay. So very soon it will be available to the public.
Okay.
Yes. About 2 years ago, Nigerians were promised that electricity will be increased to about 20,000 megawatts. How's the journey been so far?
We are moving. We really are moving. Take, for instance, 700 megawatts coming from Zungeru Power Station that was moribund for 30, 40 years. Only this president saw the need to flag off Zungeru. You go there, you see construction work everywhere. It's working. And then look at Kashimbila. It's now completed. It was dead on arrival by Mr. President. He saw it, revamped it, and we're going to get electricity from that. Mambila will be flagged up very soon. That will give us 3,050 megawatts. The same government, the same President Jonathan, within these few years, things that were moribund for 30 to 50 years, like Mambila, almost 50 years it's been a dream, but now it's being realized. And then think of the coal to power that President is encouraging. And I do believe that before the end of this year, Mr. President, God willing, will be able to flag off at least 2 or even 3 coal-fired power plants in this country. That is progress. Think of the Operation Light Up Rural Nigeria that this president started. And it's to make sure that rural communities that were not connected to the national grid eventually are powered. So when you look at it from all levels, you see that government is moving on. So 20,000 megawatts for 2020 is still realizable.
Okay, and that's really good. If you have any comments or any questions at all that you would like to ask the minister, please feel free to call, send a text, or tweet at us.
And the numbers to call are 0700 Cool FM. That's our smart number. Or you can also dial 080-999-30174 or 094600-969.
Or you can simply send a WhatsApp message to the number 080-999-20275, and Twitter is at Cool FM Abuja. That's one word, Cool, at Cool FM Abuja. Pick up a phone, call, text, tweet at us. And sir, now I remember, I think I read a while back, you made a comment with regards to transmission being a problem. You made a comment saying transmission network was a problem in the power sector. You want to talk to us about what it is like now?
Yes. This administration inherited a very weak transmission network and infrastructure, not only in physical terms, but also in manpower. For 16 years, neither NEPA nor PACN hired a single engineer. You don't build a power sector that is growing with dead engineers, old engineers, dying engineers, retiring engineers. It was Mr. President that gave approval for employment of over 1,000 engineers for the system, and even promises to give more approvals in the future. So that's part of it. And then the government is strengthening the transmission infrastructure. Lots of money is being accessed from all over the world, including African Development Bank, World Bank, China Exim Bank, and Alliance Française, French Development Bank, and government direct infusion and commitment of 1.65 billion US dollars, billions, to transmission infrastructure. So with that, the fears of transmission has been allayed.
All right, beautiful. Yes. We have a call coming in.
Hello, good afternoon. What's your name?
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Abila.
All right, Abila, you've got a question or a comment?
Just a comment.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
I must commend the Prof for their nice effort, even though, the rot in the power system has long been there. And it will take time, definitely, for it to get to that level that Nigerians are yearning and expecting for. Well, we just hope, and we only can encourage government to keep doing more. And I'd like to ask the Prof, the issue of transformers. Are there any effort being made to perhaps the distribution companies to provide more transformers to areas, because that is one of the major problems. Like where I stay presently, Buhari, there is always light. That's the lights available, but the issue of transformer, load shedding. This side gets this day, tomorrow you don't have light, and the rest. So what are they doing to see that these companies provide adequate transformers all around?
All right, thank you. I think he's asking measures put in place to provide adequate transformers for his area, which is Buhari.
Well, Not just Buhari. I want to thank Ablula for your commendation. The rot was really humongous and very frightening, but very thankfully, government is addressing these issues. This present government has done so very much. With regard to transformers, even though that these discos now own privately these distribution companies, there was already a program by the federal government where the World Bank loan was obtained and is being run by the project management unit of the Transmission Company of Nigeria at this moment to ensure that most of those old, aging, dilapidated transformers are taken care of. But if you have a special situation in which your own area has not been affected, I think it would be critical for you to talk to the DISCO, and where there is no help, please, please, please feel free to get in touch with the minister or our offices, and we will do whatever we can do to intervene.
All right, we've got Josephine here, also asking if there is any hope in the near future for a reduction in tariff. And she also goes on to say in her area, which is Kubwa, that the light is really, really bad and you have to bribe them to come put it on, that they would rather give it to beer parlors because they bribe them than government quarters.
Well, with regard to increase in tariffs, let's not forget one thing. When telecoms was privatized, the first SIM card I bought was over 20,000 naira. Today, SIM cards are 200 naira, 100 naira, or free of charge because of competition. Now, competition has set in. But initially, it's not going to be easy. So, prices will remain at that level, but will eventually drop when there is a greater quantity of electricity being generated and distributed, and the competition widens. Don't forget that we need more electricity for the tariffs to come down. And we are moving in that direction, and it's not going to be long for that to happen.
Okay. Well, be a part of the program. We have him for just a few minutes before we release him. So call, send a text, tweet at us. We'll be right back. It's the Midday Oasis, and my name is Faith. Call me Faith Delicious. I've got Mr. G here in the studio, and we still have with us Professor Nebo, the Minister of Power. Once again, I want to say thank you for making time out to be with us today.
You're most welcome.
All right. Now, you can be part of the program for just a few minutes. If you have any questions or any comments, anything at all that you would like to have him, comment on, go ahead and send a text or tweet at us or call the numbers.
And the numbers to call is 0700 Cool FM Abuja. That's a smart number. Or you dial 080-999-30174 or 094-600-969.
And of course, on WhatsApp, you can reach us on 080-999-20275 or Twitter, which is at Cool FM Abuja. Now, sir, with regards to the vandalism, which you said was the big challenge, that the power sector is facing, what measures are being put in place to stop this? Because 20 holes on a pipeline, that is just wrong in so many ways.
Well, the government is working hard, but remember, because of the length of these pipelines, the only way to really get to the whole bottom of the whole matter is to digitize the entire pipelines. That is an expensive thing to do, but we find out that is the best way to do it. We've synergized with the Office of the National Security Advisor, with the Army, with the Navy, with the Civil Defense Corps. We're all working together, and many people have actually been arrested, but they need to be prosecuted. Unfortunately, there is no enabling act of Parliament that gives any specified punishment for these vandals. We hope that the next National Assembly will take care of that.
Okay. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Charles. I'm calling from Gariki.
All right,
Charles, talk to us.
Yeah, I've been listening to your program. I must say there has been a very impressive improvement with the light situation in Abuja here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would say kudos to the minister and the ministry. Yeah. But there is something that has been confusing me. I want to get more information about. You talked about transformers being the problem when it comes to areas, some areas having light issues. But how about a particular state or an entire capital having light issues? My job takes me to Port Harcourt sometimes, and whenever I go there, I don't even remember the last time I saw steady electricity. And I don't understand how that is possible. It's not a matter of area anymore. This is an entire capital city. Port Harcourt itself, different areas, but same light problem. I want to know I want to get more information as to how that can happen. How is that happening in a city like Port Harcourt?
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much, Charles. I appreciate that. Transformers can cause a lot of trippings. That's where the transformers come in. If they're overloaded, you never get good quality light. They will always trip off and so on. But again, when it comes to issues of whole cities, it must be a load shedding event. It may be that not enough power is being generated at a time, and then the load was shared. Some people get for 12 hours, other people for 12 hours. But one thing that we want to stop with dispatch and sanction discos that are doing that, some distribution companies are rejecting power given to them. And this is unconscionable in a time when Nigerians are expecting better power supply, and you supply disco light and tell you, no, we don't want this much power. And at the end of the day, they are shedding load. It is not right. So we will find out. But again, we have a finite amount of power to distribute, and load shedding cannot be avoided from time to time.
All right, we've got 2 more messages before we leave. Francis from Lugbe says, I want to ask why power is not equitably distributed. Where I stay in Lugbe, people living close to the main road get more light than those living inside of Lugbe. And JJ Sampson here from Kuje says, good afternoon, Faith and Mr. G. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Please, we're being cheated in one part of Kuje. Though the light is stable in Kuje, but the place I am in, the light's been shared, claiming that our transformer is small. The painful part is that we are being charged the same amount as others are being charged, and this light is always stable, meanwhile ours is not. Please help us.
Well, I think it's good that these questions are coming. Why not equitable distribution of power? It's going to be hard, especially now that it's in the hands of the private sector. They will give light mostly to those they believe will pay them, and pay them when due and as due. And we want to make sure that everybody is treated as a Nigerian. We all have one vote, according to Mr. President, one man, one vote, one woman, one vote. And there's no reason why preference should be given to some people at the expense of others. But if you continue to have that problem, don't hesitate to complain, and we will look into that. For Kuje, as you said, and there was also a question earlier about how come those that are closer to the road are getting better power.
Yeah.
It's quite likely that by the time the light gets to where you are, there is a big drop, and there may be technical losses as a result of the quality of the systems that are there. Again, that is why you really need, from what you've said, you need an intermediary transformer that will make sure that the quality of light is sustained. So please make sure you let the discos know that, and if they don't respond, let the Regulatory Commission know that as well. So for Kuje, where you don't have, some people have stable light and others, it's a problem of transformer. Unless your transformer is improved and the capacity increased, you're going to keep running into that problem. It's like going to Newi or going to Aba or Onitsha. If you don't replace all those transformers, they will never get better quality supply. What improved Oka, and Oka was celebrating several months ago, 5 months of uninterrupted power supply, was because of changing of those transformers, and it helped them substantially.
Okay.
So
there'll be a difference if the transformers are changed.
Of course.
Honorable Minister, I just want to ask this, I don't know, what's the current level of power generated in Nigeria?
About 4,500 megawatts.
Okay. We have this. I've not heard about this before, so I'm going to read this. This is from Jesse from Abuja Road. It says his complaint is about the two different types of electricity that is running around the axis and Nasarawa State, where owners of transformers sell slots to individuals that are wealthy. You get to have stable power there for about 33 hours, while the regular one is just 11 hours. Is this right? Okay, I've not heard about this before.
Well, you see, the reason this kind of program is very important, because I never knew. It's possible that some people, realizing the problem with transformer that have harped on over and over again, went and procured a transformer themselves, and they decided to become a disco without a license.
Wow.
It is not right. It is not right. But apparently they are trying to recover their resources or what money. Maybe they agreed among themselves that if we buy this transformer, we are going to make sure that it is used. So if you have a transformer that is overloaded, well, let the disco do something about it. They ought to change these transformers. But anybody charging anybody money and then by implication getting better electricity because the transformer is now better and it can serve better areas and so on, they are not licensed to do so, and it's something that the Regulatory Commission would be glad to look into.
So I guess when your call center is set up, complaints like this, they can come directly to the call center.
Oh, sure.
Because what happens is that these people, in desperation to get light in their house, would pay anything just to get stable light.
That's correct.
So how soon can this call center be set up? Because Nigerians are eager to have a forum where they can, lay their complaints.
In fact, we are at the verge of concluding.
Okay.
Yeah, that. So maybe within a week, we should be able to have a call center in the ministry that will address all kinds of questions regarding power that people have not had satisfactory answers from their discourse or even the regulator.
I will be glad to have you here again to give out that number.
Well, if you invite me, I will be very glad to come.
We will invite you.
Yeah, Cool FM is a radio station that most people enjoy all the time. So I will be glad to come and interact with the people we are trying to serve.
Yeah, exactly. Now, they would love to hear from you. Well, that's all we can take right now. Thank you so much, sir, for making time out to be here.
God bless you all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Enjoy this one. It's Treadstone with God Heal Nigeria.